Perfect. Good afternoon. This is Committee Chair Juan Gonzalez. I'm calling to meeting the 3 p.m. I'm calling to order the Executive Committee meeting. Today is January 14th, 2026, and we're calling this meeting to order. And we're located at Aeva's headquarters in Oakland, California at 1999 Harrison Street, Suite 2300 in the Altamont Conference Room. Members of the public wishing to make a comment can do so by either using the raise hand function in Zoom or *9 if you're joining through the telephone. Clerk, would you please take roll?
Thank you. Alameda County.
Present.
Stockton. Pleasanton.
Present.
Piedmont.
Present.
Hayward. San Leandro.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Okay, at this time we'll move to item number 2 on our agenda. It's an opportunity for members to address items that are not on our agenda. Members of the public will have 2 minutes to make their comments. Are there any members of the public who wish to make comments online?
There are no hands raised at this time.
We will close public comment online. Is there any public comment at the noticed locations?
No.
Seeing none, and we do not have any in the room, so we'll just close public comment, move on to item number 3 on our agenda. At this point in time, we have an action item to approve minutes from our December 3rd, 2025 meeting. Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, do we have any public comment on this item?
Are there no hands raised in the virtual?
At any of the locations? Seeing none,
No.
we do not have anyone present in person. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
So moved. Do you need a motion?
Oh, fair enough. We do
Happy
need a
move.
motion. Thank you. So we have
I'll-
I got a
I'll
second.
second.
Okay, so I've got a motion from Chair Anderson and a second from Board Member Marquez. Please vote.
Thank you. Alameda County.
Aye.
Pleasanton.
Aye.
Piedmont.
Aye.
Hayward.
Aye.
San Leandro. The minutes are approved.
Thank you. At this point in time, we will go to a informational item, item number 4, Customer Care and Data Management Service Procurement Plan. Who do we have presenting on this item? Okay, would you please proceed with your presentation?
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, Executive Committee and members of the public. I'm Kelly Brezovac, Senior Director of Account Services, here to daylight and provide some transparency for Aeva's planned procurement for our call center and data management services. This is what we contract through SMUD, and this is just highlighting how we'll be working this contract aligned with our new procurement policy that was just adopted in October. So Adrian, if you can scroll down to the analysis and context section, I'll walk you through briefly the contract and our agreement to date, which started with a public request for proposal process before Aeva began service. And so that the agreement with SMUD was signed in February 2018 for a 2-year term. You'll see in this paragraph that we're referencing both a master services agreement as well as task orders. That's just the way that this contract is written. The MSA allows the 2 parties to work together, and then the task order highlights and identifies all of those things that the parties are agreeing to do. So the first MSA was 2 years. It was an MSA with the task order for 2 years, and then the MSA was then extended for another 2 years from 2020 to 20. Excuse me, it was. It was extended again.
Kelly,
Yes.
can you speak up a little bit? I just got noticed that it's a little,
yeah,
little
sure.
quiet online.
Yeah, where is one of those? Is
I think it's actually integrated.
It's ambient?
but
I'm just
maybe
being
maybe just
unusually-
speak up a little bit.
I'm being unusually quiet. No one. that's
Don't
very
be
rare.
shy. Don't
It's very rare. So after that from 2018 through 2020, we ran a competitive request for proposal process in 2021. We received, at that time, we received 3 qualifying proposals. One was from SMUD, one was from Calpine Energy Services, and one was from another provider that does not provide these services at this time. Ava chose to continue to work with SMUD for those services. I'll walk you through here the various task orders. There was task order 1 from 2018 to 2020. Again, this is identifying all of the services. Then task order 2 was for another 3 years from 2021 to 2024. At that time, we chose to then amend that agreement with task order 3 for services running for 2025 and calendar year 2026. So this agreement is up at the end of 2026. There's an additional task order for accounts receivable recovery services. That's kind of a separate set of work. And so that's its own task order that runs also through the end of this calendar year. You'll see that the MSA, that Master Services Agreement, runs through 2029. That just, again, allows the two parties to work together, but is independent of the actual work being done. So in planning for 2027, AVA staff is looking at how do we best contract for these valuable services, and looked at first our new procurement policy. The new procurement policy that was just adopted in October of 2025. And Adrian, I think if you scroll up just a little bit, or down, sorry, the other way. This particular service, staff believes falls under an item identified in the procurement policy called mission critical service. The mission critical service policy states that these are transactions for products or services that are for all practical purposes essential to AVA's day-to-day operations and qualify as purchases of mission critical products or services. One of the items in that is that these items do not require a request for proposal, even if the dollar limit would otherwise say so. Okay, so this is a contract that's going to be over $100,000, but we're not intending to RFP it because it qualifies as a mission critical service. In the memo, I've outlined, and I'll go through these together with you, the different considerations. First is the extent to which AVA's operations are dependent on the service. The second is the level of difficulty in finding or transitioning to an alternate supplier. And the third is that the degree of financial or reputational harm AVA would face in the event of an outage or other material instance of unavailability. So walking through these three, the first one is that our essential operations are dependent on this service. These call center and data management services qualifies as mission critical, namely because this is our billing engine. SMUD provides the services that allow AVA to bill our customers and then to receive funds and allocate those funds accordingly. SMUD sends approximately 8.5 million bills annually, and they're tracking over $1 billion in annual customer payments. They're also taking in an average of about 4,500 customer contacts a month. Next, the level of difficulty in finding or transitioning to an alternate supplier. So today, CCAs in California receive these services from two different providers, from either SMUD or Calpine. SMUD is also a municipal utility. This is a subset, a separate department within their public agency. They provide this same service to other CCAs as well. The other provider is Calpine. Their main business is energy production, namely gas turbines and geothermal facility in Sacramento. Calpine, this is similarly a subset of their main business. They operate out of their San Diego, California office. And of note, in January of 2025, another energy provider purchased Calpine, Constellation Energy Services, or Constellation Energy purchased Calpine Energy Services, and that was just finalized this month. To date, this hasn't impacted Calpine's CCA services. Of note, staff has been satisfied with SMUD's performance in this area. In looking at the RFP response received back in 2021, and obviously we talk with other CCAs as well, we have found that the customized solution offered by SMUD is superior. It's a better fit for Ava than the kind of more cookie cutter sort of product that's offered by Calpine. Ava likes to do things our way, and we're able to do that with SMUD. And the last item that's outlined in the procurement policy is the degree of financial harm that Ava would face in the event of unavailability. As I said earlier, this is our billing engine. SMUD provides a service that allows us to bill our customers and to receive payments. So this is clearly a critical service. Without those payments, we can't continue to buy energy and provide energy to our customers. So in conclusion, our recommendation is to move forward pursuing an agreement with SMUD for these services. This is aligned with Ava's approved procurement policy. In addition, staff would of course continue to follow all the other requirements as stated in the policy, or all the other requirements continue to apply. The board would see this agreement in, say, early Q4 of this calendar year before it is signed and goes into effect in January of 2027. And that's it, unless you have anything you'd like to add, Howard.
Maybe a couple of really brief points from me, given the timing that Kelly highlighted, that we anticipate bringing forward a contract with SMUD in the Q4 timeframe. So there's quite a bit of time between now and then, and the rationale for bringing this now is really to ensure that the board is comfortable with the process and our utilization of the administrative procurement policy. Because we made some meaningful updates in the fall timeframe of 2025 that gave staff the ability to deem this a critical service and therefore not put this out to RFP, which we've done a couple of times for this particular service in the past. It's a very heavy lift, substantive process. It does take a number of months to put that RFP together, run that process. Ensure that that is a good, open, fair, competitive process. Given our experience, we feel comfortable deeming this a mission critical service and focusing on contract negotiations and ensuring we continue to get the right level of service. But really, for the reason why we are bringing this forward for the executive committee is really for transparency's sake. We want to make sure that as we are now operationalizing the new administrative procurement policy with staff, myself included, deeming this a mission critical service. I recall in the discussions that we had in the board meeting that approved that administrative procurement policy, there's questions, as we bring forth new contracts, you'll socialize things and sort of raise things for our awareness as there are some meaningful changes here. So this is just part of that, to try to be transparent and make sure that the board understands and agrees with these decisions. And there's always an opportunity to make a different decision. So it's not a formal action that we're seeking right now, but really socializing how we're approaching this from an RFP perspective so that we're prepared to go forward with the board in the future.
Thanks, Howard.
Nice. Spot on. What we're going to do for this item, we'll take public comment first, then we'll go to questions and discussion simultaneously. Do we have any public comment online?
There are no hands raised at this time.
Let's public comment online.
Oh, there's one.
Please proceed with the online public comment.
Great, thank you. Jim Lutz, recognized for 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Jim Lutz. I'm a member of the Community Advisory Committee, but speaking just for myself right now. I don't have any comment on the quality or the cost and the value of the services provided by SMUD, but I do want to express concern about the amount of outsourcing of mission critical services Ava's been doing, such as managing customer billing and payments and contracts, and also the agreement with Lunar to operate the DERMS platform, the solar and storage program, and the EV managed charging program. I'd like to remind the board members that the JPA authorizing the formation of AVA, East Bay Community Energy at the time in 2018, emphasized local economic and workforce development as one of the goals. And I'd like to see the board carefully consider which tasks and services should be outsourced and which would be appropriate to develop in-house now that AVA's well established and has a very competent staff. So it's just a request for considering which is appropriate and when it's not appropriate, and what's best for this valuable public service. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you for the comment online. Is there anybody else online?
There are no further hands raised at this time.
Okay, so let's close online public comment. Do we have any commenters at our remote locations? That does not appear that way, and we do not have anyone in the room. Member Roche, you're there for the question or comment, correct? For your own question or comment? Perfect, thank you. So we're gonna go ahead and close off public comment. At this point in time, we'll come to board member, committee member comments, questions, the whole shebang. And we will start with Committee Vice Chair Roche.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm glad you're daylighting, bringing it to us today, because it is interesting to see the new procurement policy in action here. Because I guess my first question is, if we were to do an RFP, are you saying the only two people that would apply, or the only two organizations that would apply, would be SMUD and Calpine? Are they the only ones doing this kind of work?
That is certainly there are other general energy billing providers in the country, so I'm not suggesting that there's no possibility that other entrants would be in the market. Today, there are only 2 billing providers for CCAs, given our kind of robust needs. So our expectation is that it would only be 2, and to the extent there was any additional applicants, they would not be able to say that they had any experience doing billing for CCAs.
Okay.
It would be very unique, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's good we're talking about it, because since it's a change in policy and it is a significant contract for AVA, the idea that we won't go out in RFP, I understand that it's mission critical and we've made this decision. So I'm going to stick by it, but I'm glad we're talking about it so that, we can sort of better understand like why as a public agency, we're going to forego a sort of traditional public process of an RFP when you're talking about a contract this big. So, okay, I think that's it. I just want to make sure that, and then the other thing that's so interesting is that they're both within these other public utilities, and yet they're sort of like arms of those utilities. Like they're not separate organizations within because they're serving, sounds like multiple organizations, both of them, Calpine and SMUD.
Yeah.
Is that right, Howard? Yeah.
That's correct. And just elaborate on that. So, SMUD is obviously strictly a municipal utility, and they obviously do their own billing, provide their own internal billing services, and they provide these services to multiple CCAs. We were the first ones to work with SMUD, and they've expanded that service offering to others. And we've seen certain CCAs from that were previously served by Calpine transition to SMUD. I don't believe there's been any transition from SMUD to Calpine. Calpine now being an acquired entity under Constellation, as Kelly had noted, Constellation is a very large national utility. They have both regulated arms and deregulated arms. So I think what that business is under Constellation is a unique, what I think they call community energy services. Yes. So they're out there specifically providing billing services.
Okay.
We did see in the past, there was a third provider previously. Yes. That was a provider to, I think, just one CCA, yes. I believe. They are no longer providing services to CCAs. That particular CCA transitioned away from that provider and went with one of these two. So we've seen a little bit of movement throughout this service offering. So it's important. The other thing I just wanted to know, to your point on RFP process. So certainly the whole point of this is to have clear transparency with the board on how we're moving forward on this process. Make sure with our policy that we are all comfortable with that. And I just want to note that we are certainly going to be continuing to negotiate with SMUD. So in the absence of an RFP, that does not mean we're just taking their terms. It's a good partnership and relationship. With that said, of course, we heavily negotiate all of our contracts there. And we still have time, with that in mind, if we were not happy with how the contract negotiation was going, to pursue other alternatives. So we certainly don't want to put ourselves in a position where we're locked in an unfavorable position from a negotiating standpoint, taking unfavorable terms.
Okay.
And I'll also note that in our last RFP, there were some specific offers there as it relates to extending the contract that we found favorable to help actually bring some savings into the service offering. So that's all part of this. Is we sort of know the terms that we want to specifically negotiate, and while we weren't prepared to necessarily present all those details today, those are certainly details we would provide when we seek approval on the actual contract.
Yeah, again, some of that might be good to add color to all this. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you for your questions, comments. Coming to Member Balch.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to ask staff, and I appreciate the daylight. I think it's important, obviously, as Member Roche has mentioned, the significance of the contract and the critical nature of it. I remember us maybe a couple of years ago, and maybe Member Marquez remembers even deeper, but I remember us really looking at, should we have this outsourced with SMUD or not? And we at that time, we found that they were doing a high quality job. And I just maybe wanted to check if staff still thought that was the case based upon our review of them and interaction with them. Do we think that customers are being well served? That's my question, if I may, please.
Yes, thank you, Director Balch. Yes, I do think that SMUD is doing they are doing a good job with this work. They have successfully last year, enrolled Stockton and Lathrop into our service, and we did not see any billing issues or enrollment issues with those customers. They are gearing up and quite active in working towards our enrollment for unincorporated San Joaquin County coming up this May, and doing that while also planning for other programs and opportunities that our customers are going to see. The city of Fremont is going to see their commercial customers transition to Renewable 100 this August. That happens in June, right? We're enrolling these new communities in May, and starting in June, commercial customers in Fremont will be able to also go onto our website and choose if they want to remain on Bright Choice, right? So just that dance of all of the different programs going on and projects going on at the same time. SMUD has done a great job of working with the AVA team, and the care that they provide to our customers is, if I could play a customer call for this body, I would. They're very patient and thorough in their customer engagement.
Yeah.
Maybe I can elaborate on 2 points there. One is, when we initially engaged with SMUD, part of the rationale is because they're very highly rated, J.D. Powers and Associates, in terms of customer service, and we found that to ring very true in terms of their own customers and their satisfaction with SMUD services. And obviously that speaks beyond the billing aspects and the customer service aspects, but it's a very significant portion of their own services and why they're very highly rated. And so we saw that as a really strong data point, and we have found that experience to be true in how we're working with them. I think on the technical and operational side of things, for one, they do a lot of critical services in terms of that billing and data management. That's vast amounts of data flowing from PG&E to them, with our bank, with inflows that are coming in from PG&E to us, and how that's all managed and reconciled. And certainly there is at times tension in terms of where that service is at and how we want it done and how we customize that. To Kelly's point of we get an offering that we really want customized to our needs. And I'll say on the other side of that is the customer service piece, the call center piece. And we found that particularly exceptional there. They have created a really strong operations there for engaging with customers, explaining to them helping us engage with them on why they shouldn't opt out, and also explaining our programs and things like that. And they've gone so far as to also help us address a need, which is we wanted to think about how we can hire and increase hires locally, specifically for call center reps. And they had customized a way to go do that and try to hire within our region while still being managed by SMUD personnel. And so we found that to be a really good balance from an operational perspective while still meeting our hiring, some of the hiring benefits that we seek. So I think from a service level, we're quite pleased with them. And certainly we have our fingers on the pulse in terms of what's out there very, very actively. So even in the absence of an RFP, we're absolutely constantly gauging the risks and the services out there from other providers.
Yeah, I think, thank you. I apologize. I got two monitors for the first time, so I'm distracted, but I'm here. I'm just, that is exactly what I wanted to confirm or know, because I think we thought that last time we had heard that feedback maybe it was 2 years ago or maybe even a little bit deeper than that. I apologize, I can't remember. But to the public comment about servicing our customers and keeping them kind of in priority, it appears staff is very aware. There's low error rate with SMUD service into our system, and our customers are getting a high quality. So I think we are actually doing as charged or as expected of board members. And so I appreciate where staff's going with this and comfortable. Thank you.
Do you have any other questions, comments online? Yes, if you
Yeah.
would proceed. Member Marquez.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I appreciate staff, Kelly, great work on presenting this item. Just wanted to have clarity. It sounds like customer service is excellent. We're not aware of any concerns, but what is the mechanism if there was a complaint? Like, obviously they have to call customer service. So does that get escalated to a supervisor, manager? Just want to understand that process. And then are we tracking the data points of conversations with customers that want to opt out? I'm presuming they are trained to walk them through their questions, inquiries. Are we tracking, were they successful in getting someone to potentially not opt out or just change the product? Are we tracking that data in any way?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Thanks, Director Marquez. So the mechanism, if there is a complaint, the complaint might come in through, I guess it depends on what they're complaining about, really. If customers can call in and complain about all sorts of different things, but related and unrelated to our service. But if they call in and they're complaining about, let's say, I didn't like that I was automatically enrolled in AVA's service. This is a very common complaint. That is something that, to your second point, like, do we track those conversations? Yes, we do track those conversations. If a customer wants to opt out, they are asked why they want to opt out. And we have, I might get this number wrong, but I think it's something around a 30% success rate in actually retaining customers, right? So a customer calls in, they want to opt out. I didn't like being automatically enrolled. Well, let me tell you a little bit about our service, what we offer. This is a discount. It's a local, you have influence through your local elected officials and these programs, Ava Bike Electric. About 30% of the time they stick around, right? And that's if they call in, if they go and they do this work online and they don't have that interaction, then they lose out on Ava's benefits. If they have a complaint, let's say a customer calls in and they weren't satisfied with the experience they had with our call center rep and they complain about that, that does get escalated to us here, in the office, and we'll be able to talk to the customer. It will first go through various channels with SMUD. There's a senior customer service rep, there's a supervisor. So I'd say that the times when Ava gets word of a negative customer service experience is pretty rare. And most often it's something like a training issue. The CSR got something wrong and the customer calls them out on that. Most of the time it's very, very rare. In all of the phone calls we've listened to and spreadsheets, of all the tracking, it's once or twice. The CSRs are very, very well trained. So yes, we do track the interactions, and we are if a complaint bubbles up, it does get to us.
And I'll just add,
Okay, and then, mhm.
sorry if it's okay, I would just add that, so there's a tremendous amount of sort of raw data and tracking in terms of the categorizing the types of phone calls we have, and even have access to recordings of those calls to help, sort of do spot sampling of certain things and better educate ourselves. And that's something that, of course, SMUD houses, but we have direct access to, and Kelly, as our head of account services, actively oversees a team that really is engaged on that front. And I'll just add that amongst our executive team, we also do a regular review of that. So we get unique exceptions raised there, and we also just get regular sort of data that's provided on calls that are coming in, call volumes, and we track that very closely throughout the year. If there's new enrollments and expansion, with Stockton and Lathrop as an example, when we issue new programs, such as our e-bike program, we see spikes in calls. And so we're tracking that very closely to understand what's happening. Why are there an increase in calls? Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? And seeing how those things are classified and categorized to see if there's a service issue, is there a billing issue, anything along those lines. So we do regularly monitor that in our sort of monthly reviews.
Mhm. And the physical location for SMUD is in Sacramento, is that correct? The call center?
Yes, the call center is in Sacramento. However, a good portion of their customer service reps do work remotely. And as Howard had mentioned earlier, Ava has been, for the past, I'm going to get the year wrong. I want to say it's up 4+ years at this point, maybe not during COVID, but maybe not let's say 2021 and forward. Ava has been able to post when SMUD is doing CSR recruitment, calling for applicants from our service territory. So the flow goes that a CSR is hired and they are trained up and they work on SMUD's own phones first. Then they can get sort of transferred over to the CCA service after they've spent some time, gotten favorable reviews on their SMUD calls. And so the intention there is that eventually we have folks from our service territory that are picking up calls for us. And during the most recent round, we did have applicants that came in from San Joaquin County. I think the previous round, there was at least one new hire from Stockton. I don't know the status of those folks right now. I think we'll get alerted when they move over to our territory, but that's after a pretty lengthy training and period of time answering SMUD calls. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, at this point in time, we'll come into the room.
My questions have been asked and answered.
Awesome. Asked and answered, said the attorney. A couple of quick questions on the procurement policy, Ray, mission critical. Is there an upper limit? So if there was a $10 million contract, would it come to the board?
I want to be clear, these are only for mission critical services, but under that, there's not a specific dollar limit. Yeah, and power procurement does not fall.
Correct. So something to think about, if there should be an upper limit.
And to be clear, that contract would still go to the board for approval.
Yeah.
So we can't sign that. We would just determine the process to engage.
How much it gets highlighted and all that stuff. Okay, you mentioned signing a contract in the fall. I think somebody's not on mute over there. Is that right?
There is some background noise coming in, so to
Director Marquez, there you go. Thank you. So the second question, you mentioned contract in the fall, that precise language, task order in the fall?
Yes, that would be a task order in the fall. Yes.
Okay, just make sure we have the
Yes,
same.
yeah,
language.
We have an existing MSA, Master Service Agreement, that actually already goes beyond
Into
the year
2029.
term, so.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was in that staff report, the total annual cost. Is it in there?
It's not in
Okay.
there. You got me.
Oh, that would be a good one to just kind of,
Okay.
for some reason, I had the feeling.
It is in the millions of dollars.
It is in
So
the
this
millions.
is probably one of our larger services
Non-
oriented contracts.
I had this weird thing in my head that it was like 75 cents per bill.
It is
Per
per,
month,
it is
per-
per account, so it is
Yeah.
on a per account basis as we
It is.
expand, it is very
I don't
much.
know where I
Yeah, it
saw it.
continues
linear in that
to-
regard.
I think I saw a number someplace. Okay. Fourth question, the revenue recovery,
Collections.
right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that is mission critical. So we might think about as we individual task orders, because I don't know, might have them do all sorts of stuff for us, analytics and the like of the data. It might be more cost effective for them to do it, but whether it's mission critical is probably
Yeah.
task order dependent.
And just quick clarification, we did an RFP for
Correct.
that specific service about a year ago.
Okay.
Yes,
So
correct.
we have
did.
viewed that differently as well.
Perfect. I don't know what that other was. I think it was probably related to our public commenters comment, but I think we have fleshed that out. So I have no other comments. I get the sense, I don't know if you're looking for generalized feedback.
That's,
I
yeah,
think
that's
the
all.
general feedback that I'm reading from the board or from the committee is positive, thumbs up, you're doing the right sort of thing. You've thought through it carefully and thoroughly, and we appreciate your update.
Did you want an answer on the annual?
If you have the answer, I'll
It's
take the
about
answer.
800K a month,
800K a
8
month.
to 900 a month, and that will go up.
It's about $9
when-
million a year.
Yeah, when we
Ballpark.
add, as we add additional customers. Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
Chair, can I just add something in when you're ready?
Certainly, please.
Yeah, I just, as far as the feedback, yeah, I think, for me, I know everything, Howard, that you said about how you're negotiating the contract and looking at all the details and comparing to other CCAs, like, I think all of that will be important to say in front of the board. So I just wanted to add that.
Great,
Thanks.
thank you.
Okay, at this point in time, we will move to item number 5. Are there any committee member or staff announcements or requests to place items on our future agendas?
My announcement is oriented towards the last statement, which is the next meeting. As noted before, that conflicts with the Cal CCA Lobby Day scheduling. So I anticipate that we will cancel that meeting. We're looking at what agenda items may be slated there. And as of now, it looks like those can all be moved and covered via other subcommittee meetings, the full board or deferred on. So my expectation is that will be canceled. And we'll make that final determination over the next week or so and formalize that. To the extent that any board members have any critical items they would like us to review, it would be helpful to certainly know so we can plan ahead and make that determination.
Seeing no, yes, you have another announcement.
A staff
Please,
announcement.
yes, please proceed.
So just today, the application and reapplication for the Community Advisory Committee positions just opened today. You can find that at avaenergy.org/CAC-APP. The applications are open as of today. The deadline to apply is Friday, February 20th at noon. The application is a fairly simple Google form, and we will be requesting to the CAC members that have the ability to return that to be reappointed, that they also fill out the full application so that the board has information on all applicants and reapplicants to the body.
Can I ask a question about the
Yeah.
announcement? Are you gonna be pushing this information out to MuniPals so they can push it
Yes.
out to the various constituencies?
Yes, we'll be pushing it out to MuniPals. It'll also be on social media so that we can get as broad of a group of applicants as possible.
Any other announcements? Okay, seeing none, we are adjourning at 3:40 without clarity on when our next meeting is.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good to see you.
That was quick and easy.
New record, I think.
Are we done?